He didn't mean to do it. Dr. Ethan Cross was never the kind of man who broke rules. He was quiet, careful, and maybe a little too curious. Inside the silent orbiting lab above planet Venera 6, his hands moved fast across glowing screens, adjusting power levels and nanotech sensors. It was supposed to be a simple night experiment, to make alien plants grow faster using low-energy radiation. Nothing dangerous, nothing unusual. He took a sip of cold coffee, stared at the timer blinking red, and whispered to himself, "Just a few more seconds. Then I'll finally make something work." Outside the glass window, the planet's surface shimmered with purple fog and silver forests that moved like waves. It looked peaceful, but inside Ethan's lab, a storm of curiosity was about to begin. Before we begin, if you love mysterious human and alien stories, take a second to subscribe to this channel. It really helps us grow and keep stories like this alive for you. Now, let's continue. A soft sound echoed behind him, the door sliding open. Ethan didn't turn. He thought it was the lab AI. But then, a voice, calm, gentle, musical, spoke. "Dr. Cross, are you still working?" He froze. That voice didn't belong to a human. Turning slowly, he saw her standing there. Lyra, an alien girl from Venera's native species. Her skin shimmered faintly blue under the lights, her eyes like tiny galaxies. She held something in her hands. 2 glowing fruits she called coconuts from her world's sacred trees. Ethan blinked. "Lyra? You shouldn't be here. The lab is off limits during a live test." She tilted her head, smiling softly. "You said these fruits might help your experiment, so I brought them." Her kindness caught him off guard. He sighed. "Fine, but stand back. The radiation chamber is active." Lyra walked closer anyway. Curious, fearless, the way her eyes followed ever. A move made Ethan's hands shake. He turned back to the console. "All right, let's see if this works." The timer hit 0. The beam ignited, a sharp flash of golden light. At that exact moment, Lyra stepped forward, holding the fruits toward the machine. "Wait!" Too late. A burst of energy shot through the chamber, bathing her in light. The fruits in her hands began to pulse and swell, glowing brighter and brighter. Lyra gasped. The air hummed. The energy field wrapped around her like liquid fire, dancing along her arms, her skin flickering with soft light. Then, silence. The beam shut off automatically. Smoke curled through the air. Ethan's heart pounded. He ran to her. "Lyra, are you okay?" She blinked, her breathing uneven. The glowing fruits were twice their size now, warm and trembling in her palms. Her face flushed deep violet, her kind of blushing. Ethan didn't know whether to panic or apologize first. I didn't mean to. I didn't know you were." She looked up at him, her glowing eyes wide. "You changed them," she whispered. "The fruits, they're alive." Ethan stared. "Alive? That's impossible. It was only a growth beam." But before he could speak more, one of the fruits twitched, like a heartbeat. Lyra stepped back, holding them tightly. Her expression shifted. Surprise, confusion, and something else. Something shy. He swallowed hard. "Please, give them to me. I need to analyze what happened." She shook her head slowly. "No, they are part of me now." Ethan frowned. "What do you mean, part of you?" Lyra looked down at her hands, the faint veins of light running along her skin connected to the glowing fruits. "I can feel them breathing," she said softly. "They're connected to me." The lab lights flickered. Ethan's computer beeped, error messages flooding the screen. The readings made no sense. The energy level inside her body had changed. He stepped closer, lowering his voice. "Lyra, you need medical help. Let me scan you." She smiled faintly, eyes glowing brighter. "Don't worry, human. I feel warm, lighter, like something inside me has awakened." Her words sent a shiver through him. He had seen thousands of experiments, but nothing like this. Her biology was rewriting itself in real time. He tapped his wrist console, running quick diagnostics. The nanotech radiation had fused with the alien's plant DNA. The result? Unpredictable, possibly dangerous. "Lyra, this could spread," he said quietly. She tilted her head again, a soft laugh escaping her. "Then maybe your little mistake has made something beautiful." He blinked. "Beautiful? You call this beautiful?" Lyra nodded. Her glowing eyes locked on him, her expression unreadable. "You humans always fear what you don't understand." For a long moment, neither spoke. Only the quiet hum of the ship and the faint glow of alien fruit filled the room. Then Lyra whispered, almost to herself, "What did you just do to me, Ethan Cross?" He couldn't answer, because deep down, even he didn't know. The computer beeped again, louder this time. Energy readings climbing, a strange pulse moving through the floor, spreading outward. Ethan turned toward the window. The silver forests below were glowing faintly, the same color as Lyra's skin. His eyes widened. "Oh no," he whispered. Lyra looked at him. "What's wrong?" He stared at the screen, voice trembling. "The mutation. It's not just in you." The monitor flashed crimson warnings. Energy transfer detected. Source: Planet Venera 6. Outside, the planet shimmered with waves of light, as if responding to her heartbeat. Ethan stepped back, frozen in disbelief. He looked at Lyra, glowing softly, standing like the heart of some living miracle. And for the first time in his life, he was afraid of his own creation. The next morning, the lab was too quiet. Dr. Ethan Cross hadn't slept, not even for a minute. He sat in front of the console, eyes red, replaying the recordings again and again. Every time he paused the footage, he saw it. The light from the experiment wrapping around Lyra like living gold. And those strange glowing lines spreading under her skin, connecting her heartbeat to the planet below. He rubbed his face and whispered, "What did I do?" Outside the glass window, the alien world shimmered faintly under its twin suns. The forests below were breathing, the silver trees opening and closing like lungs. And every pulse from the planet matched the rhythm of the readings on his screen, Lyra's rhythm. The door hissed open. She walked in, calm, graceful, her glowing eyes brighter than before. Ethan turned sharply. "Lyra! You shouldn't be here. You need rest, medical supervision." She smiled, gentle and strange. "I feel fine, Ethan. Better than ever." He stared at her. Her skin glowed softly, but there was something else. The faint hum in the air, a vibration that followed her movements. Every step she took made the lights flicker slightly. Ethan stood. "You're affecting the power grid." She tilted her head. Maybe the lab is just listening to me now. He frowned. That's not funny. The planet is reacting to you. Look. He turned the screen toward her. It showed energy waves radiating from the planet's surface, spreading in circles, right from where her people lived. Lyra leaned in, her voice barely above a whisper. So, the world is alive now, and it remembers my name. Ethan swallowed hard. No, Lyra, this is bad. The energy pattern is unstable. If it keeps spreading, it could... Could what? She interrupted softly. Heal the planet or destroy it? Ethan hesitated. He didn't have the answer. And that terrified him more than anything. Hours passed. The lab grew colder. Outside, small storms of glowing mist began forming, random, unpredictable, almost like reactions. Ethan ran diagnostics again, typing fast. Each reading screamed one thing: connection. Her DNA and the planet's core energy were linked now. Any harm to her could echo through the world itself. He slammed his hand on the console. Damn it! How do I fix this? A soft voice behind him said, Maybe it isn't broken. He turned. Lyra was standing closer than before, too close. Her eyes shimmered like stars reflected in water. Ethan, I can feel things I never felt before. The roots, the air, even the ocean tides. He took a step back. Lyra, that's not normal. That's not possible. She smiled faintly. Your human science says many things are not possible. Her glow brightened slightly as she spoke. The plants in the corner of the lab began to grow, tiny vines stretching toward her like they recognized her. Ethan froze. Lyra, what are you doing? She looked at her hands. I don't know. It just happens when I think about life, or about you. The last words hung in the air like a fragile spark. Ethan felt his heart skip. He didn't want to believe it, but the readings spiked the moment she said it. Her emotions were triggering the energy pulses. Stop, he said gently. Please. You could destabilize the whole system. Lyra blinked. I can't control it yet, but I'm learning. He sighed, running his fingers through his hair. This is out of control. Later that night, the emergency alarms began to blare. The station shook slightly. Ethan jumped from his chair and looked out the window. The forests below were glowing like liquid silver fire, and from their center, a beam of energy shot into the sky. It was the same color as Lyra's glow. He rushed to her quarters. The door wouldn't open, locked from the inside. He pounded on it. Lyra, open the door! No response, only silence, and the faint hum of power. He overrode the system, and the door slid open slowly. Inside, Lyra floated a few inches above the ground, her eyes closed, her entire body surrounded by a golden aura. The air around her shimmered like heat. Lyra, he shouted. Stop! You're drawing too much power! Her voice echoed softly, even though her lips didn't move. It's not me, Ethan. The planet is calling. He took a step closer. What do you mean, calling? She opened her eyes. And for a moment, they weren't hers. They were filled with stars, galaxies, lightning, something ancient looking back through her. The planet remembers everything, every wound, every human experiment. Ethan froze. No, Lyra, that's not you talking. Her voice deepened slightly. You awakened the bond, Ethan Cross. You opened the path between mind and root, between life and machine. The room trembled. The lights burst. He stumbled back as the walls glowed faintly, the same golden hue spreading through the metal, and just as suddenly as it began, the glow faded. Lyra dropped gently to the floor. Her eyes returned to normal, her breathing heavy. Ethan rushed to her, kneeling beside her. Are you okay? She smiled weakly. I saw everything. My ancestors, the forests, even the oceans, whispering your name. My name? He said, confused. Lyra nodded slowly. They know you now, Ethan. The planet knows you. He didn't understand. Couldn't. But one thing was clear. Whatever he started wasn't just science anymore. He helped her stand. We'll find a way to separate you from it. I promise. She looked up at him, eyes soft but filled with fear. Separate me? She whispered. Ethan, if you separate me, you'll kill me. His stomach turned cold. What? She touched his chest lightly, her voice trembling. My heart beats with Venera now. If it stops, the planet stops too. Ethan froze. 1,000 thoughts crashed in his mind. How do you fight something that's alive? How do you fix what's become one with a world? Outside, thunder rolled across the alien skies. The storm glowed brighter, closer, and as Ligse, harshening touched the surface, the energy waves began to rise, flowing toward the orbiting station like glowing rivers of light. Ethan looked down through the window, eyes wide. Lyra, what's happening now? She turned toward the planet, her expression calm and haunting. It's coming for me, she whispered. For you? Lyra nodded. The world wants its power back. The alarms screamed. The glass windows vibrated, and the same energy that once linked them began to rise again, stronger, faster, alive. Ethan grabbed her hand. Lyra, listen to me. Stay awake. We'll stop this. Her glow brightened. The floor cracked beneath their feet. She looked at him one last time and whispered through the chaos. You didn't mean to, Ethan, but you changed everything. And then, the light swallowed them both. Darkness. That was all Ethan could see when he opened his eyes. For a moment, he thought he was dead. No sound, no light, only the weight of still air pressing against his chest. Then, a pulse. Soft, rhythmic, familiar. He blinked, gasping for breath as golden light rippled through the room. He was lying on the floor of the lab, every console shattered, every screen cracked. The station was still, floating in orbit, but half the lights were gone. Lyra! His voice trembled. No answer. He sat up slowly, his body aching. The memory of the explosion still burned in his mind. That wave of light swallowing everything. And then he heard it. A faint whisper. Ethan. She was there, kneeling by the glass wall, staring out into space. Her glow was weaker now, flickering like a candle in wind. He crawled toward her. You're alive. Lyra turned to him slowly, eyes tired but calm. Yes, but something is wrong. He followed her gaze to the planet below. What he saw made his blood run cold. The forests of Venera 6 were no longer silver. They pulsed red, angry, alive, and spreading. Energy storms twisted across the surface like veins of fire. "What happened?" Ethan whispered. Lyra's voice was soft. "The planet is angry. It remembers what humans did long ago." Ethan frowned. "Humans? There's never been a mission to Venera before me." She shook her head slowly. "Not your humans, the old ones. The travelers who came before your history began. They took from us our oceans, our crystals, our peace." He stared at her, confused. "Ancient humans? That's impossible." Lyra looked at him with those glowing eyes that seemed older than time. "Nothing is impossible anymore, Ethan. You woke their memory." Suddenly, the ship's alarm blared. "Incoming transmission. Venera High Council." Ethan's heart pounded. "Your people. They found out, didn't they?" Lyra stood, brushing her hands against her long, glowing robe. "They felt it. Every heartbeat of the planet screams my name now." The holographic projector sparked to life, and a dozen alien faces appeared, all blue-skinned, all glowing faintly. At the center was an elder with silver eyes and long crystal threads woven into her hair. "Lyra of the Seventh Bloom," the elder spoke coldly. "What have you done?" Lyra bowed slightly. "I only tried to help him, to help the human understand our nature." "Instead," the elder hissed, "you merged your essence with his creation. The roots of Venera twist in pain because of your act." Ethan stepped forward, voice shaking. "It was my fault. I made a mistake." "Silence, human!" another counselor snapped. "Your species was warned never to interfere again." Ethan froze. Warned? He had no idea what they meant. Lyra raised her voice. "He didn't mean to harm us. The energy reacted to my presence. I chose to help him." "Your choice," the elder said bitterly, "has broken the sacred bond. You have become something unnatural, half human, half Veneran." Ethan's eyes widened. "Half what?" Lyra's glow dimmed as she looked away. "It's true. The fusion of our energies changed me." The elder's voice grew darker. "She could and I'd stay on Venera now. Her presence corrupts the core. We must contain her or destroy her." "Destroy!" Ethan shouted. "She saved your world. She didn't ask for this." "Enough!" the elder roared. "You do not understand the cost of your actions. The planet bleeds because of you both." The hologram flickered out, leaving only silence. Ethan stared at Lyra, his mind spinning. "They're going to come for you." Lyra nodded slowly. "They already have." Moments later, the ship's sensors screamed, multiple crafts approaching fast. Ethan ran to the controls. "We have to leave! Now!" Lyra touched his shoulder, calm but firm. "Running won't stop them. They'll chase us anywhere this bond exists." "Then what do you suggest?" She turned toward the window. The planet's storms glowed brighter, alive, furious. "There's one place they won't follow. The heart of Venera." Ethan frowned. "The what?" "The planet's core. The oldest energy source. It's where the consciousness of Venera sleeps. If we reach it, maybe I can speak to it." He stared at her. "You mean go into the planet? That's suicide." She smiled faintly. "So is waiting here." The first explosion hit the side of the station. Metal screamed. Ethan grabbed Lyra's arm and pulled her toward the escape pod. They jumped in just as another blast tore through the docking bay. The pod launched downward, spiraling through clouds of glowing mist. Through the shaking glass, Ethan saw streaks of red lightning split the sky. The world below looked alive and angry. Lyra held her hands together, whispering in her alien tongue. He could feel the air around her vibrating, pulsing with strange warmth. "What are you doing?" he asked. "Praying," she said softly, "to the heart that you woke." He tried to focus on the controls, but every reading went wild. Gravity flux, energy surge, magnetic storms. Everything screamed danger. The pod trembled harder. They were falling fast. Ethan gritted his teeth. "We're going to crash!" Lyra turned to him, her voice calm and steady. "No, Ethan, we're going to arrive." And before he could answer, a flash of light surrounded them. Golden, blinding, endless. When the light faded, Ethan found himself standing on solid ground. But this wasn't the surface of Venera as he knew it. The sky was dark purple. The ground glowed faintly beneath his boots. And in the distance, massive crystal roots rose into the clouds, pulsing like veins. He turned slowly, speechless. "Where are we?" Lyra smiled faintly. "Inside her. Inside the world itself." Ethan blinked. "We're underground?" She shook her head. "No, deeper. This is the core's reflection, the spirit of Venera." He didn't know what to say. Everything around them felt alive, breathing, watching. Then, a low hum filled the air. A voice, deep, ancient, powerful, echoed through the ground. "Why? Have you come?" Ethan's heart stopped. The voice wasn't coming from any direction. It was coming from everywhere. Lyra stepped forward. "Great Heart of Venera, forgive us. The human did not mean harm." The voice rumbled again. "And yet, he awakened me." Ethan swallowed hard. "Please, I can fix this. Just tell me what to do." The ground trembled. "You broke the seal between flesh and root. Now life flows where it should not." Lyra reached back, taking Ethan's hand. Her touch was warm, steady. "Then teach us how to restore it." Silence. Then the voice whispered, "Restoration requires balance. One must give what was taken." Ethan frowned. "What does that mean?" Lyra turned to him, eyes filled with quiet fear. "It means one of us has to stay forever." The light dimmed. The air grew cold, and the heartbeat of the planet echoed once again. Slow, powerful, endless. Ethan stared at her, realizing what she meant. She was ready to sacrifice herself to save her world. He shook his head slowly. "No, Lyra. There has to be another way." She smiled sadly. "So, times the universe only gives us one. But somewhere deep in the shadows of the crystal caverns, something else was watching them. A figure cloaked in silver light, human-shaped, but not human at all. It whispered to itself, 'The bond must not be broken. Not yet.' And then it vanished. Silence. Only the slow echo of their footsteps filled the glowing valley of crystal roots. Ethan and Lyra moved carefully, following the faint pulse that led deeper into the planet's heart. The air shimmered. Every breath tasted like metal and rain. He whispered, "You really think the heart will let us go?" Lyra didn't look back. "The heart never lets go, Ethan. It decides who belongs." Her words hung in the thick air like fog. They reached a ridge. Beneath it stretched a lake of molten light, calm, bright, endless. Reflections of stars rippled across its surface, even though no sky existed here. Ethan stared, speechless. This is beautiful." Lyra nodded slowly. "And dangerous. The core of Venera holds every memory, every pain.
We must walk carefully. It listens." He stepped closer to the edge. The warmth crawled across his skin. A faint whisper brushed his mind. Not words, just feeling. Curiosity. He stepped back quickly. "It's inside my head." Lyra placed a hand on his arm. "It knows you now. It's searching your memories." He froze. "Then it'll see everything." "Yes," she whispered, "including why you came here." Ethan looked away. "I came here to learn, to help Earth understand alien life." Lyra smiled faintly. "No, you came here to fix yourself." He stared at her. "What?" "You told me once," she said softly, "that you worked so hard because you lost someone, that you wanted to build something that wouldn't die." He went quiet. The memory surfaced. A lab explosion on Earth. His mentor gone. His guilt never fading. He clenched his fists. "That has nothing to do with this." Lyra looked at him sadly. "Everything we carry becomes part of what we create." A sudden tremor shook the ground. Ripples spread across the glowing lake. From the light, shapes began to rise, figures made of energy, their forms half human, half alien. Ethan's breath caught. What are those?" Lyra whispered. "Echoes. Memories of the first travelers." One of the figures stepped forward, its face shifting, unstable, yet Ethan recognized it. A human face. It spoke in a voice that was both male and female, ancient and young. "We came to harvest the roots of Venera. We called it energy. We called it progress. But the planet called it pain." Ethan shook his head. "That can't be real. Humans never came here before." The figure smiled faintly. "History forgets, but the stars remember." The ground cracked. Waves of light rolled outward. Lyra stepped in front of Ethan. "Enough! You said one of us must give back what was taken. Tell us how." The echo raised a glowing hand. "The bond between you feeds the imbalance. The planet will heal only when one heart stops beating." Ethan stepped forward, anger flashing in his eyes. "Then take me! This was my fault!" Lyra turned sharply. "No!" He looked at her. "If you die, your people survive. But if I die, the planet loses nothing. It's the only way." Lyra shook her head. "If you die, the bond will collapse. The planet will tear itself apart trying to fill the void." The figures began to circle them, whispering faster, louder, like a storm of voices. "Choose, choose, choose." Ethan grabbed Lyra's hand. "We'll find another way." Her eyes softened. "You still don't understand, Ethan. Sometimes saving something means becoming part of it." She stepped toward the lake. He pulled her back. "Lyra, don't!" But the ground beneath her split open. Light erupted, wrapping around her body like a cocoon. She looked at him through the glow. "Tell them on Earth that we were not their mistake." "Lyra!" He dove forward, grabbing her arm. The light swallowed them both. He fell through brightness and sound. Voices, memories, fragments of time spun around him. Images of cities made of glass, of ancient human ships mining the stars, of Venerans crying as forests burned. He saw Lyra's memories too. Her childhood beneath blue trees, her first laugh, the fear she hid when she joined the research exchange. Then everything went dark again. He woke lying on smooth stone. Lyra was beside him, unconscious but breathing. Above them, the heart of Venera pulsed, massive, alive, a sphere of light hanging in the air. Its voice filled the chamber. "The bond between you has changed. You are no longer two, you are one. Ethan looked down. Glowing lines ran from his arm into hers, flowing like veins of gold. He tried to pull away. He couldn't. What did you do? He whispered. Balance, the heart said. Shared pain, shared life. Lyra stirred. Her eyes opened, brighter than before. Ethan, I can feel you inside my mind. He touched his head. The same warmth pulsed through both of them. He could feel her heartbeat inside his chest. The realization struck hard. They were linked, truly, permanently. Before he could speak, a new sound echoed through the chamber, the roar of engines. He looked up. Through cracks in the ceiling, light beams pierced down. Ships. Human ships. A metallic voice rang from the comms. Dr. Cross, this is the Earth Alliance. Step away from the alien and prepare for extraction. Ethan's eyes widened. No, not now. Lyra stood weakly. Your people found us. He turned to her. They can't understand this. They'll think you're the threat. They're right, she whispered. I am. He grabbed her shoulders. No, you're the cure. Explosions thundered above. Rocks fell around them. The heart's glow flickered. Conflict will break the balance, the voice warned. Ethan shouted upward. Stop firing! You'll destroy everything! Static answered him. The inner commander's voice. Negative, Doctor. We're neutralizing the alien entity. Lyra looked at him sadly. Ethan, if they destroy the heart, your world will die too. You're part of it now. He realized she was right. The link wasn't just between them. It stretched through him into Earth's ships. The shared energy connected everything. He whispered, Then maybe I can stop them. Lyra frowned. How? He looked up, determination burning through his fear. By showing them what they've forgotten. He closed his eyes and focused, feeling the energy surge from the heart through his veins, through the orbit, through the sky. The ships above flickered. Their systems went wild. And suddenly, every pilot, every soldier saw it. Visions of Venera's forests, of Lyra's laughter, of the beauty they were about to destroy. The firing stopped. Silence again. Lyra fell to her knees, trembling. Ethan, you shared the planet's memory with them. He smiled weakly. Maybe now they'll understand. The heart glowed softer, calmer. Balance restored, but the bond remains. Lyra looked at him, tears glimmering in her eyes. So, what happens to us now? He smiled faintly. Maybe we start over. But before she could answer, the ground shook again, not from ships, but from below. A deep crack split the chamber. From the darkness beneath, a shadow rose, tall, human-shaped, eyes burning white. The heart dimmed. He should not be here, the voice whispered. Ethan stepped back. Who? Who is that? The shadow smiled. I am the first human who touched this world, and I never left. The air turned cold. Lyra whispered, Ethan, that's the one the heart warned us about. The shadow stepped closer, voice echoing like thunder. You think you've brought balance, boy, but you've only woken the war that never ended. Ethan felt the glow fade from his hands. The shadow raised its arm. Lack energy swirling like smoke. Lyra shouted, Run! But there was nowhere left to run. Darkness again. But this time, it had a shape. A man's outline stood between Ethan and Lyra, glowing with shadows instead of light. His voice rolled through the chamber like thunder wrapped in ice. "I was the first," he said, "the first to touch this planet, the first to break it." Ethan could barely speak. "That's impossible. Humanity never came here before." The shadow laughed softly. "Humanity forgets. Venera does not." The heart's voice echoed weakly above them. "He is the ghost of the first traveler, the one who took more than he gave." Lyra stepped forward. "You're the reason our world still hurts." The figure turned toward her, his eyes white and empty. "And you are the mistake she made trying to heal." He raised a hand. The light in the chamber dimmed until only the pulse from the heart remained. Energy whipped through the air, slamming Ethan to his knees. Lyra screamed, trying to shield him, but the force tore through her. The shadow spoke calmly, almost kindly. "I once came to harvest her power. Now I return to finish the work." Ethan pushed himself up, shouting through the storm. "Stop! The planet doesn't belong to you!" The shadow smiled. "It never belonged to anyone, but power always finds a master." He thrust his hand toward the heart. The sphere shuddered, its light cracking into threads of fire. Lyra fell, clutching her chest. Ethan grabbed her shoulders. "Lyra, what's happening?" Her voice broke between breaths. "He's draining the bond through me." Ethan looked back at the figure. "You're killing her!" The shadow tilted his head. "She carries the key. You gave it to her the moment you linked." Realization struck Ethan like lightning. The bond, his bond, was the channel the shadow was using. He had opened the door. He clenched his fists. "Then I'll close it." He reached for the connection inside him, the golden thread that tied him to Lyra, to the heart, to the planet itself. Pike, and exploded through his skull. The world blurred. He saw memories that weren't his, images of the first expedition centuries ago. Humans landing, cutting routes for fuel, promising to come back, and never returning. The shadow had stayed behind, feeding on the planet's life to survive. Ethan screamed, forcing the bond open wider instead of shutting it. Energy flooded the air, bright as dawn. Lyra gasped, her glow returning. "Ethan! What are you doing?" He gritted his teeth. "Sharing it, every part of me. He can't take what belongs to both of us." The shadow roared, his form flickering. "You fool! You'll burn!" Maybe he would, but at least not alone. The heart flared to life, golden light filling every crack. "Two souls in balance, one of greed, one of gift." The light struck the shadow head-on. He staggered backward, screaming. His body split into shards of smoke and vanished into the lake below. For a moment, silence. Then the chamber shook again. The heart's glow began to fade, slower this time, like a heartbeat finding rest. Lyra collapsed into Ethan's arms. Her voice was a whisper. "You stopped him." Ethan looked down at her, exhausted. "We stopped him." She smiled weakly. "The planet feels calm now. She's sleeping again." He nodded. "And you?" Lyra's eyes flickered. "I'm still here, but I'm changing. The bond is deeper now. I can feel your thoughts, your fear, your hope." He brushed a strand of silver hair from her face. "Then you know I'm not leaving." She looked at him, eyes glowing faintly gold now, part human, part Veneran. "You can't leave, Ethan. You're part of her too. The heart won't let you go." He frowned. "So we're trapped?" Lyra smiled softly. No, chosen. Above them, the clouds of Venera parted. The human ships drifted in silence, their weapons powered down. Pilots watched in awe as the planet's red storms faded to soft silver in the Ferkepatit. Control room, Commander Hale whispered. What the hell did he do down there? No answer came. Only the calm voice of the ship's AI. Energy levels stabilizing. Planet life signs returning to balance. Deep below, Ethan and Lyra stood at the edge of the glowing lake. He looked at their reflection, his skin faintly shining, her eyes golden. She took his hand. Do you hear it? He listened. At first, only silence. Then, soft humming, thousands of voices blending into one. The planet singing. He smiled faintly. Yeah. She's alive. Lyra looked up. There's still one more thing the heart wants. What's that? She stepped closer, resting her forehead against his. To see if humans can love without taking. He closed his eyes. Then let's show her. The light around them deepened, wrapping them both in warmth. For a second, they weren't human or alien, just two pieces of the same universe, breathing together. Far above, the heart sent one last ripple of energy into the stars. It carried memories of war, of forgiveness, of two beings who chose balance over power. Back on Earth, astronomers would record the strange burst of light from Venera 6 and name it the Bloom Event. They would never know it was two hearts beating as one. But deep below the surface, the shadow's ashes stirred. A single spark of dark light drifted upward, whispering through the quiet tunnels. Balance never lasts. And somewhere in the distance, the heart's glow flickered, just once, like a warning. The chamber was silent. Too silent. Only the echo of Ethan's breath filled the hollow beneath the heart. Lyra leaned against him, her glow faint, her pulse uneven. But the air, it wasn't still. Something moved inside it. A whisper, soft at first, then stronger, like 1,000 tiny voices murmuring at once. Balance fails. Ethan turned. Did you hear that? Lyra's eyes opened slowly. Yes, the heart is warning us. He frowned. But the shadow's gone. We ended it. She shook her head. No, Ethan, you destroyed his body, not his will. A faint spark drifted across the glowing lake. It hovered, twisting like smoke, whispering. The golden light around them dimmed into pale amber. Lyra staggered forward, clutching her head. He's still inside, feeding on the heart's memory. Ethan grabbed her arm. Then we stop him before he rebuilds. She looked at him with fear. You don't understand. He's becoming part of it, part of me. He stared, speechless. Her skin shimmered, threads of dark silver weaving beneath the blue glow. She winced. He's trying to use the bond to reach you through me. Ethan took a step back. No, Lyra, fight it. She smiled faintly, even through the pain. If I fight, the heart feels it. The whole planet feels it. He wants me to resist so he can feed on chaos. He clenched his fists. Then I'll find another way. He turned toward the heart's great crystal core, glowing weakly now. Heart of Venera, he said aloud. You said the bond was balance. Tell me how to keep it. The voice came like thunder, hidden inside a whisper. The bond survives only through trust. If fear rules either heart, the dark returns. He looked at Lyra, her trembling form, her fading light. "I'm not afraid," he whispered. "Not of her, not of what we've become." He placed his hand on hers. The glow steadied. But something else stirred in the depths of the chamber. A new voice, low, human, but warped. "You think courage saves you, boy?" The air rippled. The shadow's shape reformed, thin, sharp, like glass given life. Its eyes burned white again. "I was born from your courage," it hissed. "The same hunger that drove you to experiment, to prove you were more than a failed scientist." Ethan froze. "You're not real." "I'm what you made," the shadow replied. "You can't erase the human need to own everything, even life itself." Lyra gasped. "He's using your guilt to rebuild himself." Ethan's heart raced. The guilt he'd buried, his mentor's death, his failed project, every mistake rose like a storm. And the shadow grew stronger with every pulse. The heart's voice trembled. "He feeds on regret. Purge it, or all will fall." Ethan closed his eyes, shaking. "I can't just erase what I did." Lyra stepped closer, her hand trembling as it touched his cheek. "Then share it with me." He opened his eyes. "Lyra, no, if you take it, it'll hurt you." She smiled softly. "Pain shared is pain halved." He hesitated, then nodded. They linked hands again. Light exploded between them, half gold, half silver. Memories poured out, his failures, her loneliness, their fear, their hope. The shadow screamed. Its form cracked like shattered glass, pieces falling away into the dark. But the light didn't stop. It spread through the whole chamber, racing up the crystal roots into the planet's crust, bursting across the sky. From the human ships above, the surface of Venera shone like dawn. Sensors overloaded, commanders whispered in awe. "What's happening down there?" Below, Ethan and Lyra knelt at the heart's center. The shadow's remains drifted like dust. But something was wrong. Lyra's glow was fading again. He grabbed her shoulders. "Lyra, stay with me!" Her voice was weak. The heart needed a vessel to hold its balance. It chose me. He shook his head. "Then I'll share it with you." She smiled faintly. "You already did. But one of us must stay to anchor the heart. The bond can't stretch to the stars." He pulled her close. "Don't you dare say goodbye." Lyra looked into his eyes. "This isn't goodbye. It's beginning." The ground beneath them opened like light-filled roots. She touched his chest. "Go back to your world, Ethan. Tell them what life truly means." Before he could answer, the heart's light surrounded her completely. He shouted her name, but his voice vanished in the blaze. When he woke, he was lying on the surface. The air was quiet. The forests shimmered silver again. He sat up slowly. The sky was clear, peaceful. His wrist console blinked, a signal from orbit. "Dr. Cross, are you alive?" He stared up at the stars. "Yes, but she's gone." Silence. Then, faintly through the static, a familiar voice whispered back, soft, distant, but unmistakable. "I'm not gone. I'm everywhere." He froze. "Lyra." The wind carried her laughter, light, musical, wrapped inside the rustling leaves. And when he looked down, the soil beneath his hands pulsed gently with golden light, matching his heartbeat. Back on Earth, the scientists celebrated the restoration of contact. But the reports were strange. Venera's ecosystem had changed. Its plants breathed oxygen now. Its surface shimmered with unknown energy patterns. One line in the data stood out: planetary resonance identical to human neural rhythm detected. Ethan stood in his new lab, staring at the hologram of Venera spinning slowly before him. The planet glowed faintly gold, like it was alive, like it was watching him. He whispered, "You kept your promise." And deep within Venera's core, a voice replied, just for him, "Always." The lights in his lab flickered once, then steadied. He smiled. But outside, beyond the blue of Earth's sky, a ripple of dark energy moved unseen between the stars, a remnant of the shadow, drifting, waiting. "Balance never lasts," it whispered again. And the story of Ethan and Lyra was far from over. Space was quiet again. Too quiet. Months had passed since the Bloom event. Earth called it a miracle. The scientists called it a new dawn for human-alien understanding. But Ethan Cross knew better. Miracles always come with a price. He sat alone in the orbital lab above Venera 6, watching the golden planet spin below. Every 12 seconds, the sensors blinked. A pulse, soft and steady, like a heartbeat. Lyra's heartbeat. He smiled faintly. "Still watching me, aren't you?" A whisper drifted through the intercom, almost a sigh. "Always." He closed his eyes. The sound of her voice still made the air feel alive. Yet lately, that heartbeat from the planet had changed. It was slower, heavier, and every few minutes, another signal appeared, colder. Far beyond the orbit, in the dark between planets, something moved. A cloud without light, twisting in silence, spreading like ink in water, the last remnant of the shadow. It had no body now, only memory, only hunger. "Balance never lasts," it whispered to itself, and it turned its gaze toward Earth. Back in the lab, alarms screamed. Ethan jumped to the console. Energy readings off the chart. He stared at the data. "Unknown anomaly approaching. Gravitational field distortion." Then the message changed. Source confirmed. Venera 6 core. His chest went cold. "Lyra?" He opened the comm channel. "Lyra, can you hear me?" Static. Then, a faint, broken voice. "Ethan, help! The darkness! It's awake again." Her tone was filled with pain. He gripped the mic. "Hold on! I'm coming down!" The AI protested. "Warning! Surface access forbidden. Planetary energy unstable." He ignored it. "Override code. Cross 7. The pod detached from the station and dived through the clouds. The atmosphere was different now. No glowing silver. Instead, veins of black smoke stretched across the forests like scars. The ground pulsed with red light. He landed hard near the same valley where he first met her. The trees whispered, not with wind, but with voices. Voices crying. He stepped out, scanning the area. "Lyra!" No answer. Only the wind. Then, from the distance, a figure appeared, glowing weakly gold, walking slowly toward him. He ran. "Lyra!" She looked up, her eyes half silver, half black. Her voice trembled. "He's back! Inside me!" He stopped dead. The shadow? She nodded. The heart tried to contain it, but it used my link to reach you. Now it wants both worlds. He stepped closer, refusing to back down. Then we stop it together. Her face twisted in fear. If you stay close, it will use your energy to spread. Ethan, you have to leave. He shook his head. Not leaving you again. The ground shook violently. From the fissures, black tendrils of smoke rose, forming a colossal silhouette above them. The shadow reborn, now vast as the sky. Its voice thundered, "You bonded flesh and spirit, now I bond worlds." Lyra screamed as the veins of light on her skin turned black. Ethan grabbed her, holding tight. "Fight it, Lyra! Don't let him in!" Her tears glowed gold as they fell. "It's too strong!" He stared at the sky. The shadow stretched toward orbit, toward Earth. Inside the command center back home, humans panicked. The golden planet that had once glowed like hope now bled darkness into space. Earth's leaders shouted orders. Missiles were armed. "Target locked on Venera. Prepare to fire." Ethan heard the transmission. He shouted into his comm, "No! You'll kill her! The planet's alive! She's alive!" But static answered him. Lyra looked at him weakly. "They won't listen." He turned back to her. "Then we make them see." He pressed his hands to her chest, feeling the shared bond ignite. Their eyes met. "Take my strength," he said. "All of it." She shook her head. "You'll die. Then I'll die with purpose." He closed his eyes and opened the link completely. Light burst from both of them, gold and white blending into fire. The shadow screamed, twisting and retreating, but the force of the energy tore the air apart. Ethan's thoughts flooded with memories. His first night in the lab, her laughter, the day the heart called them one. Lyra's voice filled his mind. "Ethan, you can't follow me this time." He shouted back, "Yes, I can." Her smile was sad and bright. "No, you already did." She placed her glowing hands on his heart. The light grew so intense it swallowed the sky. From Earth, astronomers saw it happen, a beam of gold shooting from Venera T. Oh, the stars, slicing through the darkness. The shadow vanished. And then, silence. Every instrument went still. The planet stopped pulsing. Weeks later, Earth's council announced contact lost. No life signs, no transmissions. But Ethan's lab equipment on Earth kept blinking, a single heartbeat signal from the direction of Venera. Once every 12 seconds. People called it a ghost frequency. But he wasn't gone. And neither was she. Because deep beneath the planet's core, where light and dark once collided, two figures stood. Not flesh, not shadow, but energy. Ethan looked at Lyra, his voice echoing softly. "So, this is forever?" She smiled. "Forever's a small word." Their hands met, and around them, a new sun began to bloom, a fusion of human and alien light. From the distance of galaxies, travelers would one day see it and call it the Twin Heart Star. They would say it was born when love rewrote the laws of creation. But somewhere beyond that new light, drifting unseen in cold space, a faint whisper remained, the last echo of the shadow. Balance never lasts. And then, silence. The end. For now.